See what happens when I'm in court too much? My beard grows, my hair grows, and I neglect my whole appearance. Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce, and this is the Top Shelf News. This is the news where I go into science fiction, fantasy, and horror sometimes as far as it relates to books mostly, but also to media. And anything else pretty much that I'm interested in, then plus some channel updates, which I do have this time. And as always, remember, there are ebook deals in the description below. I always like to include them. There's always something out there, and so check those out in the description below. Thank you. All right, first thing I thought was interesting this week, we always go with the books first. That's going to be The Expanse is getting graphic novels. And the first one is Dragon Tooth. This makes sense. Daniel Abraham, who is one half of James S.A. Corey, one of the two creators of and writers of the Expanse series, starting with Leviathan Wakes. He already was the writer for the Game of Thrones, the A Song of Ice and Fire comics, so it totally makes sense. This is just one more thing that is part of what Daniel Abraham can do, which seems to be anything literary. He's incredible. So I'm looking forward to that, checking that one out. And you know I love graphic novels. They are so much fun. Just a good, fun medium, and what's great is my kids love them too. There's just one different way to get reading into your life, and I love it. All right, next news I thought was interesting this week. Daniel Green has, speaking of Daniels, apparently, Daniel Green announced just recently that he's leaving his exclusive contract with Audible for his books. That's Breach of Peace and Rebel's Creed. I did read Breach of Peace. I bought it off of Audible. It is Audible exclusive, at least it was. And it was good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm very impressed with, again, I said this before, with a reviewer kind of putting their money where their mouth is, kind of putting themselves out there to be reviewed when they're usually the one, being critical. Cool and interesting for me is that he's asked us to do this, so I'm just doing him a solid, because that's what I'm here for. And he's putting Breach of Peace, Rebel's Creed on his YouTube channel, so that's going to be however many hours those are each. And I think a Breach of Peace is only a couple hours. And Rebel's Creed, I don't know. But anyways, putting those on the YouTube channel so you can literally listen to the audiobooks read by Michael Kramer and Kate Redding on there. Apparently, all I can think for that is that Michael Kramer and Kate Redding got their money and don't get like royalties from it. Otherwise, there'd be an issue maybe there. It looks like it's going to probably get sold other places too, so that's going to, I guess, account for a number of those things, but when Daniel Green has the rights, I guess he can do what he wants. I do, just having my own YouTube channels, you may or may not know, I don't know. Looking at the back end and kind of understanding a little bit how it works, as I understand it, videos do not keep monetizing, or at least I don't even think you can monetize a whole video after 12 hours. So Breach of Peace is going to work. It's going to be under the 12-hour mark. I want to say it was only a couple hours. I mean, it was a pretty short book. Luckily, editing, Bryce knows everything. It's amazing. But anyway, that's cool. I'm definitely going to be checking out Rebel's Creed. He's asked people to check those out and to give, give those nice views to see how they'll do on the channel, because that's where I think he's kind of concerned that over that 12-hour mark, you could have other ramifications. It's just, that's the beauty of YouTube, is that you can have insane amounts of content on just even one video, and instead of having to shorten it either for TV or something like that. But that's a lot, and it can backfire a little bit. All right, Brandon Sanderson news. We seem to not be able to do any kind of news without some Brandon Sanderson news. I almost said Branderson news. The update, the most recent update on the Kickstarter, because that's the 4 secret projects. There's an update that they'll give from time to time, and I always appreciate that. The biggest one right now is that they're at 25% fulfillment for Tress of the Emerald Sea. That's supposed to be the January book, and we're in February. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. Kickstarters is there. It's all promise and eventual delivery. I've never seen one be on time. This is not news. The fact that 25% have gotten theirs already, and I think a healthy amount even got theirs of the 25%, which is not a healthy amount of the entirety, by the numbers. And just the fact that people got some in January, honestly, is pretty incredible. With what they're looking at, 25% of 10,000 copies. That's just insane. And that's just the Kickstarter, not even the ones that are getting ordered and going to be purchased through Tor, the kind of traditional publisher here. They said 6 more truckloads are needed to be obtained to then be able to send out to the world. It's insane. They then gave updates on the rest of the secret projects. I'll post them up here. You can see and pause there. But essentially, the rest seem to be on point. They're going on. They're tracking, and they're going to be released on time, in theory. Again, I don't hold my breath when it comes to Kickstarters, and if we just get them this year, I'll be happy, frankly. We'll see. I've made some kind of offhand comments about, like, well, maybe I would like Tress better if I got it. I don't know. Or like the cover better. But so we'll see how that goes. I know it's a crazy process. They're kind of almost reinventing the wheel because we're not expecting so many people to come and show up, which is just awesome. What a surprise. But that's where we're at. Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams is just got a gorgeous cover. I mean, look at that. How can you not want it? And of course, it's one of those that I'm sure it's already sold out. I didn't even look, but I just wanted to talk about the cover because it's just amazing. Hopefully I'll find the artist because I forgot to write that down when I filmed this. Speaking of audiobooks being on YouTube, Zach Argyle has a YouTube channel dedicated to just posting independently published audiobooks, and I think it's where at least it's starting. So check those out. I've read, and I've actually listened to /read, because that's how it works, multiple of these, and they were all great. So the Virginia McLean one is great, Blade's Edge. That's the only one that's coming to mind right now, but there are others that I like too, and I'm sorry I'm messing those up. Then I wanted to point out Fantasy Book Critic. They've got a great interview with Thiago Abdallah, that's author of A Touch of Light, and the sequel that's just come out that I'm blanking on. I can throw those up. But cool, I love Fantasy Book Critic. They're just amazing, do great work, and just been friends with them for ages. So keep up the great work, wanted to mention them. In that kind of vein, being able to throw, I don't do this enough, and I've been neglecting friends that I've made through YouTube. I still consider just this to be just, a small fun channel that and I'm just so grateful for this, the amount of success that I've had just doing this. It's been so much fun, and so much fun to see growth on this, but I want to share the love. I have not done that enough. And it's mostly because I'm so worried about leaving people out. So here's what I'm going to do is really leave people out by only mentioning one each time. But I want to try to, each time I do one of these, try to mention someone, promote them. It might even be ones that are bigger channels than I have. I just like promoting people. This is Deanna Soar, and she's doing these great shorts, terribly explained books. I just watched the Blade Itself one. So well done. They're fun. I love her sense of humor. She's just so fun to watch. Highly recommended. So check out her channel and do subscribe. It is worth it. You will have fun. I have a smile on my face every time I watch her. All right, I know I've mentioned a bunch of Kickstarters, and I'm going all the way out of order here for some reason. I can't help myself. Michael J. Sullivan has got another Kickstarter. He is the Kickstarter master. It's his newest book, Ezra Haddon. He loves these Kickstarters. He and his wife, Robin, they kill it with these. I think of him as the OG because he's really, at least the first kind of author that's really blown up using Kickstarters, and I think if any authors follow his methods and do what he's doing, they're going to be and find success, because he's killing it. It may help that he writes really great books that are really fun to read, so that there's that too. But he's gone traditional, he's back to self-publishing, and I just think he does well that way. He does so well. Why change it when you get to control everything? You get to do everything. He does just such professional work, all on his own, with his wife, completely on his own, all alone, with his team. But again, not with a whole backing of a traditional publisher. I love that this is a way that it can get done. And he just shows over and over again, and this one again is doing well as usual. All right, one of the fun bits of news I just wanted to add here. I'm kind of active, semi-active, pretty active on Twitter, and I love following certain people, but there's one, Michael Whalen. You may have heard of him. He is the illustrator, the artist behind so many amazing covers, not the least of which is A Memory of Light. That's a semi-recent one. As we can see back here, the Stormlight Archive books, the Elric of Melniboné ones that I just love, so many, and he is so much fun to follow on Twitter, I can just tell you, because not only will he post some of his artwork, so he'll post like one piece of art that he's done, and he'll give some little details on it, and then underneath that, he will then reply to his own tweets, and kind of give some descriptions. And then I've seen some great interactions. People will ask him. He did the last book of the Dark Tower, and I just saw some great interactions on that. And I just highly recommend following him. And if you ever have any questions, ask him, because they're fun to I want you to ask them, because he answers, and they're great. It's just fun interactions. I cannot recommend it enough. It's just fun to follow. All right, now in media news, I had to get a couple things of media news. We've got, first of all, Flash, the movie. We all saw it if you watched the Super Bowl. The new Flash movie with Ezra Miller. They stuck by him despite some of his issues. I'll be honest, he's not my favorite Flash actor ever. He does fine. I think he was fine in Justice League, and not the biggest fan of his actions. And I think it's fair though to give people a second chance. Hopefully he doesn't abuse our grace here. But I'm fine with it. Right? He was quippy. He was kind of funny, but not my favorite. I think even just the CW guy is really fun to watch, and would have been better. Why can't we just use the same guy? It's DC, right? Anyway, I know, there's whatever. I loved Michael Keaton. Batman, the old Batmobile, the one, I had one. I drove it around everywhere, all over the road, all over my couches and my bed, and everywhere, all over my Legos. It was just the best. I love that Batman. I still have a very special place for those Tim Burton Batman movies in my heart. So seeing Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton's just great. He's so much fun to watch. What's that Shakespeare one he did? I forget. Anyway, I love it. So I'm definitely gonna go see it and go see how Keaton does, and how they're even tying this all together. It doesn't make any sense to me. I looked it up. It's Batfleck, so it's definitely still of the kind of, it's I guess the same line of Batman and that was in the Justice League. So this whole new James Gunn version, I think, is still yet to be restarted. So it's almost like it's all going to get restarted soon. This is going to have nothing to do with canon, I assume, in a very brief amount of time. So what are we even doing here? Whatever. It's still kind of a fun movie. Let's be honest. Scorsese would agree that it's all pointless anyway. My wife and I just finished the first season and only season that's out there yet, or as of now, Severance, which is it's like a light sci-fi, near future kind of world, along the lines, as I consider, kind of like a Blake Crouch, but like with a lot more humor to it. but I cannot recommend it enough. That last episode was insane, but it's kind of this weird slow moving series that's so mysterious, so interesting. I'm so fascinated the whole time. It keeps you just constantly guessing. And then I'm chuckling as much as guessing sometimes. I cannot wait for more. This is like such good, just science fiction of the kind of old school, like, here's an idea, let's explore it. You know, let's not get into the like science and math of it too much. There's no need for that. But what if you literally could split your mind so that you don't remember anything of your personal life when you go to work, and when you go back home, you don't remember anything of your work life when you go back home? What implications does that give you? I mean, and kind of on the surface, you're going, hey, wouldn't that be great? Then, like, you know, as the person, as the part of you that is being severed, as why it's called severance, from your work, all you're kind of looking at is you walk into work and then you immediately walk out of work, go live your life, you have your weekends, you have whatever, you literally cannot even think of work. They don't even want you to, apparently, right? And you get to live your life. I would love that. I am up at night way too often, more times than I ever want to count because of my job. But at the same time, it goes into like, what are these implications? It's so fascinating. You can literally theorize on it endlessly. You know, what one of the characters brings up, well, what if you have like a wife in there, you know, in your work self? You wouldn't even know. What if you had, or you literally just, I mean, your work self doesn't even know your family, doesn't know why it's even doing it. Your work self literally only knows work and literally is waking up on the elevator to work every day and working constantly. How does that self function? If you retire, when you retire, is your work self just dead? I mean, because that's become a whole different side of you. Is it even... is it kind of almost its own separate person? Anyway, there's so many implications. It's so fascinating. I love how they've done this. It's just well acted, so much fun. And I get that I'm the last to the party, but I'm glad I did. Anyway, I'll stop gushing. Finally, just some news that I saw. I'm very excited for the sequel to Breath of the Wild in Zelda. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's coming out May of this year. And apparently right now it's at the $70, $69.99, which is $10 more than a usual brand new game coming out is. To be honest, I'm surprised. If they went 100, would it even affect their sales? I would submit to you that it would not. I'm so excited. How like insane is this going to be? Even just having more. I mean, just even the DLC for the old one is so cool and fun, and to have more to play in this world, and you know it's going to be good. They kill it. They knock it out of the park. How are they not going to? I mean, but that is a lot to follow up. Breath of the Wild, arguably the best game ever made. I would submit so. Again, I'm amazed. They're like 70s, and nobody's gonna even bat an eye at 70. $10 more than regular. Again, how are they not going 80 or 90 or 100? Not to influence. Not that luckily mine won't influence that. I don't want to pay me that, but that's doable. Anyway, this has been a really, really long Top Shelf News. I cannot thank you enough for stopping by. Had a lot to cover. Oh, the last things I almost forgot. I always forget my my own channel news. We have been doing a read along for the Malazan Book of the Fallen. We've been doing one a month, but we decided to kind of hopefully not overwhelm people too much and place the live streams a little bit further out. Now the problem is, Deadhouse Gates was the book for January. We still haven't done the live stream, but February worked for literally no one. And so we're actually going to be doing the live stream for Deadhouse Gates, which was our January book, on March 5th at 2:30 CST. So March 5th, 2:30 CST. That's going to be on Kaylee's channel. Then we're going to do, because Memories of Ice is now our February book, I have yet to start it, but I will do that. I've been focusing on my February She Wrote books. That's the problem. I commit myself way too much to too many things. But then Memories of Ice is going to be March 12th at 2:30 CST, and that's going to be me hosting it. So be there, be square, right here on this channel, March 12th at 2:30. You'll see more. You'll see community announcements and whatnot on the channel in the community tab. So anyway, I think it's going to be fun. I really enjoyed our discussion of Gardens of the Moon, and Deadhouse Gates and Memories of Ice are universally people's favorite in this whole series. So they're some of mine, I have to admit. They're amazing. So this is going to be fun. Anyway, again, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do. It really helps this channel, and we will catch you later. Bye.